For more on this story, we can bring in France 24's international affairs editor Armen Georgian. Armen, what exactly were French troops doing in the region?
Well, they were in an area which is considered to be a hotbed of jihadist activity, but French troops have been in Mali for several years. They were actually invited by the Malian authorities to intervene in the country in order to stop the jihadists who'd come down from the north of the country and were threatening to make it all the way to Bamako, the capital. So France at that point launched what was called Operation Serval, and when that ended in 2014, this current operation succeeded it. This operation is called Barkhane, so that's been going on for 5 years now, and it numbers 4,500 troops. And this is not just France, by the way, because there's something called the G5 Sahel, so that's 5 countries in the region: Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania, and Niger. And those countries provide support, facilities, regional bases, intelligence facilities, and so forth for the troops that are actually doing the combat. And of course, in some cases, troops from those countries have actually been on operations directly with the French troops. So this French operation, as I said, it's been going on for a few years, Delano, but it's an extremely substantial death toll for one single incident: 13 troops killed. Previously, it's been more of a trickle of fatal incidents, so 2 killed or 3, mainly roadside bombs, devices that have blown up when a tank or an armored personnel carrier or something like that went over the device. So that's been the general kind of losses that have happened from 2015 really up until now.
Now, the French President Emmanuel Macron said the soldiers died for France. Armen, what exactly is the nature of the threat here?
Well, France, like other countries, recognized that when the jihadists were stopped in their tracks and prevented from going to Bamako, that Operation Serval would push them out of Mali, but that doesn't mean that they would simply disappear. It's a very large belt called the Sahel, and it's a place where jihadists have regrouped as they were expected to do. So there was always the threat that they would come back either to Mali or infiltrate, so to speak, surrounding countries by Burkina Faso, which, according to the US State Department, recorded 150 terrorist attacks in 2018. That's triple the number counted the previous year. I mentioned the US State Department because it actually came out with a very interesting report at the beginning of this month, which says that in contrast to progress that's been made in Iraq and Syria against jihadists, there's actually been a kind of increase, according to their analysis, of jihadism in the Sahel region. For the US, then, this is really a new frontier. So this has been recognized outside France, not just in Paris and not just in the G5 countries. So the US Department saying that countries like Mali and Burkina Faso have found themselves infested with violent groups, bolstered by a flood of weapons from Libya, and seasoned jihadists returning from Iraq and Syria. So the idea in this report is that jihadists will always look for a new battleground. So those who maybe were pushed out of Iraq or Syria will try to find a new place where they can thrive, and the Sahel region is obviously one of those places.
Indeed. Armen, thank you very much for that analysis. Armen Georgian there.